In today's show, President Trump's Middle East peace deal ends a 2-year war. JPMorgan bets $10 billion on America's defense future. And Florida brings back its first black bear hunt in a decade. Plus, military shakeup after viral fitness photos. East Coast travel chaos from a powerful nor'easter. And the verdict is in. America's most hated food might surprise you. And here's the trivia question. Where does the word squirrel originate? I'll tell you at the end of the show. It's Tuesday, October 14th. This is the Flyover Podcast. Welcome to the Flyover Podcast, taking you above the noise for an unbiased, high-altitude view of today's headlines with daily coverage that's honest and refreshing. Let's cruise the news and land the facts. Hello and welcome back to the Flyover Podcast. I'm your weekday host, Ayla Brown. Wherever you're listening from, thank you. It's a packed show with headlines from sports, politics, finance, and so much more. We're glad that you're here. Let's take off with today's biggest headlines. President Trump officially signed a landmark peace agreement in Egypt on Monday, marking the end of more than 2 years of war between Israel and Hamas. As part of that deal, 20 Israeli hostages were released after spending over 2 years in Hamas captivity, while Israel freed nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners in a broad exchange. The agreement came after a last-minute meeting in Egypt between Trump's envoys, Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff, and senior Hamas leaders. The U.S. team reportedly gave personal assurances that the ceasefire would hold if Hamas kept up its side of the deal. Emotional reunions played out across Israel, and many of the other hostages returned home visibly weakened. Doctors say while their smiles tell one story, recovery will be a long road ahead. President Trump received bipartisan praise in the U.S. and abroad, with both Bill Clinton and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer commending the deal. The Jerusalem Post even ran a front-page headline reading, quote, "God bless the peacemaker." And while the Nobel Peace Prize went elsewhere, Trump didn't leave empty-handed. He was awarded Egypt's highest civilian honor and declared that peace in what he called a, quote, 3,000-year conflict was finally within reach. JPMorgan is putting $10 billion of its own money into American companies tied to national security. That means defense contractors, rare earth producers, and AI firms. It's part of a larger $1.5 trillion effort over the next decade to strengthen U.S. economic resilience, especially as tensions with China continue to rise. CEO Jamie Dimon says America's become too reliant on unreliable sources for essential materials and manufacturing. The plan will include loans, direct investments, and third-party financing. And JPMorgan insists it's strictly business, not charity, with an expected $500 billion in returns beyond its normal investments. And for the first time since 2015, Florida is bringing back its black bear hunt, citing a bear population now topping 4,000 and a rise in human bear encounters across the state. Wildlife officials approved a 172 bear harvest for the December 6th through 28th hunt, and demand is high. Over 160,000 people applied for permits. Animal advocates are pushing back, though. Conservation groups bought at least 39 of those permits to keep hunters out of the woods, calling it, quote, a bag a tag, spare a bear effort. Each permit allows one bear per licensed hunter, 18 and older. Officials say the decision is data-driven, not political, but the controversy isn't slowing down anytime soon. And by the way, if you want more Florida stories like that, you can sign up for Flyover Florida, our daily state edition, right from our website. While you're there, you'll also see 8 other state-specific editions. Check it out at jointheflyover.com. Here are your top political headlines. In Washington, the stalemate over how to reopen the government is dragging on, and it now looks like it could stretch into a third week. The Senate is expected to vote again today on a measure to fund the government, but there's still no sign of a bipartisan deal taking shape. President Trump is set to meet with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky at the White House on Friday. The two leaders will discuss whether the U.S. should provide Ukraine with long-range Tomahawk missiles, weapons capable of striking deep into Russian territory, a move that would mark a major escalation in U.S. military support. The White House also announced a $500 million plan to better defend American skies from potential drone threats, especially ahead of next summer's World Cup and other large-scale international events hosted in the U.S. And in North Carolina, Republican lawmakers say they'll vote next week on a new congressional map, one that could give the GOP an additional U.S. House seat in the state. The redistricting battle comes as both parties look to lock in advantages ahead of the 2026 midterms. Here are some podcast extra stories. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is backing a move by the Texas Military Department to replace several overweight National Guard troops who were deployed to Chicago after viral photos sparked public criticism. The images showed heavy-set soldiers arriving in Illinois, leading to questions about the military's current fitness standards. Hegseth, who's been vocal about restoring discipline and physical readiness, posted online that, quote, standards are back at the Department of War. A spokesperson later confirmed that a small group of soldiers didn't meet weight and fitness benchmarks and were quickly replaced. By the way, you can see the photos that went viral in today's show notes. Travelers along the East Coast had a rough Monday as a powerful nor'easter storm brought heavy rain, strong winds, and dangerous coastal flooding. The storm started in the southeast overnight and pushed north through the day, hitting New Jersey and Massachusetts the hardest. Flood warnings stretched from North Carolina all the way up to Rhode Island, with water levels rising as much as 3 feet above normal around high tide. Winds gusted up to 60 miles per hour along the coast, and large waves, some as high as 15 feet, caused serious erosion and dune damage. And finally, a new national survey has settled it. Liver, yes, I said liver, is officially America's most hated food. About 40% of people said they despise it, and another 15% called it unappealing. The results were surprisingly consistent across the West, Midwest, and Northeast, where liver topped the never again list. But in the South, things looked a little different. Anchovies and sardines took the top spot there. Other foods that made people cringe included chitterlings, tofu, squid, and oysters, with many citing texture as the main reason for their dislike. So while liver might be packed with nutrients, it's clearly still struggling to win over America's taste buds. I hate to say it, I have to disagree. Have you ever really tried liver? I think it's awesome, especially at this one place in Nashville. And they serve, oh my gosh, my mouth is watering just thinking about it, fried chicken liver. I've never tried it before, but there's something about it there. It is delicious. Prove me wrong in the comments section. Still to come, the Tennessee Titans shake up their sidelines. $5 flights take off for the Caribbean, and pumpkin season sweeps the nation. I'll tell you which fall favorite your state loves the most. But first, thanks to our sponsor, Native Path Collagen, made with only type 1 and 3 collagen, the two types that make up about 90% of the collagen in your body. It supports your skin, hair, nails, joints, and gut without unnecessary fillers. It's a single ingredient formula. It's third-party tested for purity, and it's completely flavorless, so you can mix it into anything. Your coffee, which is what I do, smoothies, soups, you name it. Native Path offers amazing bundle deals, and with this special link, you can grab 3 or 6 packs at a fraction of the price of the other brands. Over 4 million jars sold, 1 million happy customers, and a 365-day no-risk guarantee. Go to getnativepathcollagen.com/flyover. Once again, getnativepathcollagen.com/flyover to get yours today, or click the link to purchase in today's show notes. In finance, stocks made a big comeback on Monday after President Trump tried to calm investors' nerves, saying trade relations with China, quote, will all be fine. The Dow Jones jumped 621 points. That's about a 1.4% gain, or roughly 70% of what it lost on Friday's sell-off. Oil prices also climbed after the White House signaled it's open to a possible deal with China. West Texas Intermediate crude bounced back to around $60 a barrel after plunging more than 4% on Friday to its lowest level since May. And some sad news from the business world. Doug Lebna, the founder and CEO of Lending Tree, died in an all-terrain vehicle accident over the weekend. He was 55 years old. Here's a more detailed view of how the stocks did yesterday. It was a strong start to the week on Wall Street. The Nasdaq jumped more than 2%. The S&P 500 rose 1.5%, and the Dow added just over 1.2%. Bitcoin inched up about 0.5%, trading around 115,800, while gold climbed nearly 4%, continuing its record-breaking run at over $4,100 an ounce. And the day's big mover, Bloom Energy, soared more than 26% after Brookfield Asset Management announced plans to invest up to $5 billion in its fuel cell technology, which will be used to power AI data centers. There's a lot of major headlines in sports today. Let's start in college football. Indiana jumped 4 spots to number 3 in the latest AP poll after taking down Oregon, who fell to number 8. The biggest drop of the week came from Oklahoma. The Sooners slid all the way from number 6 to number 14 after losing to the now number 21 ranked Texas Longhorns. See the full poll in today's show notes, especially if you're a big college football fan. Moving on to the NFL, the Tennessee Titans have fired head coach Brian Callahan after a 1-5 start of the season. His 4-19 overall record makes him the second worst coach in franchise history, just behind Ken Whisenhunt's 3-20 run back in 2014 and 2015. Meanwhile, tough news for the San Francisco 49ers. Linebacker Fred Warner is out for the rest of the season after breaking and dislocating his ankle on Sunday. Until now, Warner had missed only one game in his entire 122-game career. Over in the NHL, the Montreal Canadiens have locked in star defenseman Lane Hutson with an 8-year, $70.8 million contract extension. The 21-year-old is coming off a record-breaking rookie season where he set the all-time NHL mark for most assists by a rookie defenseman. And in women's college basketball, South Carolina announced that star forward Chloe Kitts tore her ACL yesterday morning. Kitts was the MVP of last year's SEC tournament and a key piece of the Gamecocks' 2023 national championship team. In science and tech, Russia's space agency Roscosmos says it will start selling advertising space on its spacecraft beginning in 2026. The move comes after President Putin signed a new law aimed at offsetting major funding cuts and a sharp drop in space launches. And if you've ever dreamed of growing a giant pumpkin, scientists say there's a real science to it. You start with the right seed, feed it well, water constantly, and pour all of your energy into that one perfect gourd. Kind of like love, right? You find the right one, give it care and attention, and before you know it, it grows into something pretty incredible. And OpenAI's new Sora 2 app, which lets users create lifelike AI-generated videos from text prompts, is drawing backlash for using the likenesses of deceased celebrities without family consent. Viral clips featuring people like Robin Williams and Kobe Bryant sparked outrage online, with families calling it exploitative and disrespectful. Here's some extra headlines to leave you with today. If you've ever been dreaming of a tropical getaway, this might be your sign. Dominican budget airline Aerojet is offering flights from major U.S. cities to the Caribbean, starting at just $5. The flash sale runs through October 15th and covers travel from late October through mid-June of 2026, but you'll have to move fast to snag a seat. In Rome, the Colosseum is about to open something truly epic, the Commodus Passage. It's the once hidden imperial tunnel Roman emperors used to enter the arena unseen, famously featured in the movie Gladiator. First discovered in the 1810s, the passage officially reopens October 27th for public tours. Let me know if you ever see it. In California, the man who won that record $2 billion Powerball jackpot back in 2022 is putting his winnings to good use. He's reportedly spending millions to buy fire-damaged lots in his hometown of Altadena, with plans to rebuild single-family homes for local families. Over in Tennessee, one hospital delivery room had quite the shock when a woman gave birth to a 12-pound, 14-ounce baby boy. Born via C-section, the little guy spent 10 days in the NICU, but is now healthy and thriving at home, and probably already wearing 6-month clothes, if you ask me. And finally, it's officially pumpkin season, and a new survey map reveals the most popular pumpkin foods in each state. While everyone's busy sipping pumpkin spice lattes and carving jack-o'-lanterns, the real favorite across much of the country? Baked and sliced pumpkin dishes. Florida and Texas love that pumpkin soup, though. Massachusetts, North Carolina, and California love pumpkin muffins. And if you can believe it, only one state loved pumpkin pie the most. That would be North Dakota. You want to see what pumpkin food ranks the highest in your state? We've linked the article in today's show notes. Here are the results of yesterday's poll question. Do you believe the current Middle East ceasefire will hold? 40% said no, 39% said not sure, and 21% said yes. Thank you so much to everyone who voted on that question. Here's today's. If you could take a free, and I'm going to say that again, a free luxury trip, which region would you prefer? Would you go to the United States, Caribbean, Europe, Southeast Asia, South America, other, and let me know in the comment section. Or lastly, I don't travel. I will say for me, I was blessed to perform for the American troops in 13 different countries. So I've been to Asia, the Middle East, Europe. I've vacationed in the Caribbean and seen Australia and New Zealand. And there's only 8 states in the U.S. that I have not yet visited. So I've gotten around. But you're telling me I could go on a free luxury trip? This is hard, but I would choose Europe. Anywhere over there sounds fun and different. So what about you? You can vote in the show notes below, and I will read the answers in tomorrow's episode. Have you been thinking about squirrels this entire show? Here's the trivia question. Where does the word squirrel originate? The answer, the word squirrel comes from the Greek for shadow tail. So it literally means shadow tail, which feels pretty spot on, right? Early English writers spelled it about 6 different ways before we landed on the version that we have now in the 1600s. I'm telling you, always learn something every single day. That is it for today's Flyover podcast. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to share, especially with a new person who might not know about the Flyover. And of course, you guys are incredible for supporting our show. I'll be back tomorrow with more headlines. Until then, thanks for flying with us.